that's very encouraging to be honored. I mean, I didn't know about this award until I really looked it up, and I saw the company that I'm in, Bob Hope and Ronald Reagan and Scott Shannon, but I'm thrilled about this. By the way, they told me, John told me that this is being rated by PPM, so I'll try to keep this under 6 seconds and make it compelling and remind you to go to the website. It'd be really funny. And by the way, for those of you who might be program directors, in the 70s, if you're trying to get guys like me to shut up, I had a program director come in and said he was going to put a sun lamp in the studio hooked up to the mic, so when the mic came on, the sun lamp came on. He said, first guy with a tan gets fired, which I thought, first, no. You know, people always save the ones that matter the most for the last, and I want to thank the person who, you met her during the video, and by the way, thanks to Reba for doing that, but I want to salute the woman who guided me through all this, talked me into stuff, talked me out of stuff, talked me up, talked me down, did it last night. She is anything I am or will ever be is because of my darling girlfriend, Allison House. Our first date, she was 15, I was 37. It's Kentucky, so that's okay. Also, my greatest production, my darling daughter, who just got back from her honeymoon, and our new son, Shane Talent and Autumn House, are out here. I'm very happy to have her here. All my friends who flew in from Nashville, my producer Richard, Wayne, where she met Tom, and thank you so much for coming. And also, a great thanks to John David and the obviously smoked up nominating committee, because how this happened to me, I will never figure out. But I think it's a moment that I will never forget. I've said many times in interviews that, and I'm glad that, by the way, great choice of songs during dinner. I really enjoyed that. But I've said many times that getting a song recorded by somebody is a special moment, but I don't think it'll ever beat this. It's unbelievable. And I also want to thank all the people who propped me to the top, and everybody I've ever met. But I do want to tell you one story. My golden years were at SIX. But for a year, I was on WSM in the morning. It sounds like I'm talking about when dinosaurs ruled the earth, but it was the last live, big band radio show in America. It was an hour and 15 minutes, and we had an audience every morning, and I would go out. It was from the stage of the Grand Ole Opry. And we had two singers who would come up. One was Lori Morgan, one was a guy from the mailroom named Alan Jackson. The great part about that was that WSM, in case I imagine you know, was such a powerful signal. It was the only time my mother could hear me up in Kentucky on the radio. She used to be on my show in the 70s and 80s, but it would drift in and out like AM signals do, but it was so special that she could at least appreciate what I did for a living. And I remember calling her one day and I said, "Mom, did you hear it?" And she said, "Oh, honey, there must have been so many people listening that by the time it got to me, it was all wore out." Because I couldn't hear it. You know, I think she's right. I think she thought that when people listen, they take a little piece of it for themselves before it goes any further, and I think she was right. I think, and I hope we never forget that people do take a little piece of radio with them. And I know I'll take this with me as long as I live. Thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Ladies and gentlemen.